Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it will be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra. You should find on our page. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, practicing deep Prajna Paramita, clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age, age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation hath no wisdom and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by Prajnaparamita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by Prajnaparamita, attaining Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the Prajnaparamita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate Gate Para Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisvaha Gate Gate Para Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisvaha Gate Gate Para Gate Parsam Gate Bodhisvaha. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war, and to Darcy, Sarah, Evan, Karen, Sokai, Roger, Jack, Laverne, Chris, and Wendy. May they have peace and healing. And to Dylan, Molly, and Tom at the time of their deaths, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Everyone, please prepare for Zazen.
We will now recite the Sangha Covenant, which you can find in your liturgy book on page 8. We, the Buddhist Liturgy Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with the wonder and wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated so we can see the teacher, and we will recite the Gatha by opening the sutra, also on page 8. Gatha on opening the sutra. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Such a beautiful spring day and all the green buds coming out. So we continue with our Ango theme of looking at Bodhidharma's outline of practice. So this is the first sermon in the book. And hopefully you have been daily just reading this very short piece. 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe 6 paragraphs. So if you're not reading it daily, it's only 6 paragraphs, and I know you can do it. Right? And, you know, the thing about Dharma practice is it's a little bit like learning an instrument, right? You just have to keep practicing over and over again and saturating yourself in the material. So that's the best way to get the most out of it. You know, it's a little bit like if you don't practice and then you go before your teacher because you have your weekly lesson, it's like, right? For both of you, right? Your teacher's like, oh my God, I have to go through half an hour with this. And you're like so embarrassed because you can't do anything. So don't be like that. We are almost to the end, actually. We're on the third point. And just to recap, so the first 2 points that Bodhidharma is making as we enter through practice rather than principle is essentially the 4 Noble Truths, right? The first one, this is like 4 Noble Truths are like Buddhism 101, right? This is like, kind of everybody should know this, right? And this is its most simple form, okay? The first one, so life is dukkha, is suffering. You know, the dukkha in Sanskrit means the axle in the middle of the wheel is broken. Can't quite move, right? Got a lot of trouble going on, right? So don't be surprised by trouble. First noble truth. Second is there's a cause for that trouble, right? And we went over that last week or the week before. And the third principle is there's an end to the suffering. So this is the point that Bodhidharma is going to investigate this week and that we're looking at with him together. Okay, I'll read you the paragraph first and then we'll go into it. Oh, and also, while you're listening to Dharma, right, it is said that a Dharma talk is dark to the mind, but radiant to the heart. Isn't that interesting? Dark to the mind, but radiant to the heart. So when you're listening, you just sort of let it land in your heart and see what's there for you. Okay? So this business of the third noble truth, cessation, the end of suffering. Bodhidharma says, sorry, this is a little funny. Okay, I think that'll be better, yeah. Third, the third practice. Seek nothing. People of this world are deluded. They're always longing for something, always in a word, seeking. But the wise wake up. They choose principle, reason over custom. They fix their minds on the sublime and let their bodies change with the seasons. All phenomena are empty. They contain nothing worth desiring. Calamity forever alternates with prosperity. To dwell in the three realms is to dwell in a burning house. To have a body is to suffer. Does anyone with a body know peace? Those who understand this detach themselves from all that exists and stop imagining or seeking anything. The sutras say, to seek is to suffer. To seek nothing is bliss. When you seek nothing, you are on the path. So, this business of seeking nothing. First of all, you notice there's this sort of active verb there, right? It's like seeking nothing. This is a little bit like Dogen's famous quote, think non-thinking. What the hell? Right? I think for our purposes, keeping those two things together, the seeking, which is so active, and the nothing, which is so inactive and seemingly incompatible, we need to keep both of those alive in our practice. Because it turns out that the samsaric mind is so fixated on getting stuff and fixing stuff and having commentary about stuff and all the things that we're doing all the time, right? So actually you have to do a little bit of work, right? To get away from that blah, 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 right? So in this case, the seeking is like very positive because it's like you're putting some effort, some awareness, some attention, noticing what's really happening in your mind. Are you just in that bobbing like a cork on the sea of your blah, 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 right? Or is something else happening? So people of this world are deluded. So we've all checked the box, right? So deluded here, anything that throws up an obstacle to realizing our Buddha nature. That's a fairly good working definition of deluded. So anything that throws up an obstacle, an imagined obstacle, to realizing our Buddha nature. The thing that's really important about getting this is that everybody we meet is struggling so much with obstacles and with difficulty, right? So try to, there's two prongs to that, right? One is actually a little bit of protection, because people want to scratch you, and they want to take a little piece of you, right? And they want to suck your energy, and they want to deceive you and all the things, right? So a little bit of, on the one hand, and then on the other hand, just this sort of wild, like, oh my gosh, all this kind of cray-cray negative behavior you got coming at me, this is because you're suffering. This is because you're deluded. I'm so sorry. I'm doing everything I can to learn how to help. You keep both sides going, right? They always longing for something, always in a seeking. I don't know about you, but like that Instagram and that TikTok, it's like that algorithm has got me like wound up. Like I just go from thing to thing to thing to thing, right? And it's like whatever that mechanism is that they've got going in that computer, whatever, it's so matching my mind stream that it's kind of scary. It's amazing how many hours go by. But the wise wake up. So the wise wake up. Wait a minute. What the hell is going on here? Right? And especially in times of like difficulty, when you're having a really hard time, that is the best time in a certain way, because that's when you really like kind of pause for a second and say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Right? That is a great time for practice. That is the perfect time for practice. There's a famous line in one of the sutras, when horrible things happen to you, it's best to bow down. This is the Buddha appearing before you, showing you how attached you are and how deluded you are. And this is the time for practice. The wise wake up. They choose reason over custom. So there's actually, I wanted to go over this because I think it's important. This is a good cognitive framework. So reason is both the logical mind, right? The thinking mind, like, does this make sense mind? And it's also the mind of wisdom, right? Both minds are working together. And there are 5 different modalities to this mind of wisdom. And I wanted to go over them today, so you have that in your consciousness. And the first one is called Dharma Dhatu. The first wisdom is Dharma Dhatu. And that means all-encompassing space. So when I talk about warm-hearted spaciousness, that is the Dharma Dhatu. Buddha nature pervading everywhere, existing right here and now. Experiencing that directly, embodying that, realizing it, that is a wisdom. And that is a wisdom that we are all cultivating and practicing. All-encompassing space, this warm-hearted spaciousness pervading everywhere. And here's the thing, it's really nice. It's nice, right? You'll know the signature of it because it's nice, and there's always a little bit of there's more. And you're constantly going a little deeper and a little deeper. The second wisdom is the wisdom of equality. So equalizing all things, that everything we encounter has the same nature, the same Buddha nature. Again, Buddha nature pervading everywhere, existing right here and now. So having a direct experience of that and being able to express that, that's really important. Being able to express and share that with yourself and other people. The third one is wisdom is mirror-like. It reflects precisely what's going on. So when you're sitting and you're practicing seeking nothing, you're not generating new content that you are attaching to. This mirror-like wisdom begins to manifest and to show up. And the particularity of things is both incredibly beautiful and kind of scary. Kind of scary. Both. But because you're grounded in that equanimity, and you're grounded in that Dharma dhatu, that all-encompassing, warm-hearted spaciousness, you don't get attached to the really beautiful, and you don't get repulsed by the scary and the fearful. They're like a mirror. You exactly reflect what is actually true and actually arising. Very scientific, is it not? Very scientific. The next one is inside of that reflecting, exactly, you're able to see relationships, how things actually work together. Not how you would imagine it, but how it actually is so. Like in sesshin, when you're folding your oryoki bowls, it's like there's this fold, and that fold, and this fold, and that fold. Each one of them a perfect expression of awakening. That kind of thing. This happens, then that happens. Relationship. And then the last one is all-accomplishing wisdom. So this is where you put all of that together and you have the means and the capacity and the skills to be able to relieve your own suffering and the suffering of others. Because you're actually functioning out of reality, not whatever story you're trying to contrive for yourself. Very different world we're in here, right? You'll notice the story making that's going on right now in our culture, that we're actually, the whole political landscape and cultural landscape is shifting. We've got a different story that people want us to inhabit now. This sort of liberal world order, right, where everyone's helping everyone else, is like shifting to, well, this country, that country, this country. Different way, right? Okay. So they choose all of those things over custom, over how the world wants to give you the story of what's going on. So essentially you're like, I am here committed to seeing clearly. I'm not going to be pulled around by the nose anymore about the stories that I have inherited and the stories that I'm telling myself. No more. Done. You know, whatever that generational pain, that generational story making, whatever karmic history was in the past, over. New day, new dawn. And all of that capacity to do that comes from this deep, deep unhooking from samsara is like, the samsaric ego's like insatiable quest for fill in the blank, right? It's the insatiable quest that's actually the stuff. They fix their minds on the sublime, right? We fix our minds on that on that which is most true. And actually, it's surrendering our minds to that which is most true. You're laying down the mast of your samsaric ego and saying, actually, maybe I don't know. Let me listen. Let me feel what's actually here, far beyond the chatter. And of course, as soon as we do that, that warm-hearted, spacious Dharma Dhatu, which is always present, not created, the mind neither waxes nor wanes, rises up, right? It's right there. They fix their minds on the sublime and let their bodies change with the seasons. Well, when I read that, I think, well, how else would it happen? I mean, I'm not going to be able to stop that. We are not stopping that. That train is moving in one direction, right? But you could feel in that letting your body change with the seasons that every iteration of what's happening with our bodies is not separate from the perfection of our Buddha nature, right? And we can relax, right? Our life as a Buddha is no different than our death as a Buddha. Our health as a Buddha is no different than our sickness as a Buddha, right? Just let our bodies do the things. It's going to change, right? Of course, we do our best to keep ourselves healthy on all the things. That's not what that means. It means just really accepting the moment that we're in the body that we're in. And inside of that is, of course, lots of gratitude, because we actually have a human body, precious human life, difficult to acquire, easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, I can practice the Dharma, right? You know, when this human life is gone, it's really hard to get another one. And you know, the guarantee of being in a place where you have all of the conditions to be able to practice Dharma, kind of slight. So really appreciate your good fortune as we let our bodies change with the seasons. And of course, we're here together, doing that together, and appreciating the seasons of our life together. Some of us have been together for many, many years. All phenomena are empty. I'm not going to say too much about that. This has everything to do with seeking nothing. When you just let go and surrender and follow the directions for the meditation, right? You will know and taste this emptiness for yourself, right? And big clue here, folks, that Dharma Dhatu, warm-hearted spaciousness, okay? It's not this big scary thing. On the contrary, it's like, okay, this moment can be totally trusted. And there's so much love in this moment. Right. Right. Keep returning, keep returning, keep returning. So all this phenomena that is empty, they contain nothing worth desiring. So in other words, there's nothing that's going to stick and stay. Right? Our bodies, our handbags, our lipstick, it's all going to go. It's going to break. It's going to get used up. Even your favorite lipstick color. Does anyone with a body know peace? Well, here's the kicker. If you actually practice seeking nothing, you find this peace, right? And everybody who's been practicing a while, their heads are nodding up and down, right? Otherwise, why bother? If you're not going to find any peace after all the anguish of putting yourself on the cushion hour after hour, why bother? Those who understand this, not only understand this, but have a direct experience of it, detach themselves from all that exists and stop imagining or seeking anything. So that instruction in meditation, see it, acknowledge it, let it go, let it be, return to this uncreated, the mind that neither waxes nor wanes. What is that? Where is the mind that neither waxes nor wanes? The sutra says, to seek is to suffer. There we go. To seek is to suffer. Just keep telling the stories. Just keep living in your misery. Right? To seek nothing is bliss. When you seek nothing, you're on the path. Well, this is this famous line of samsara is nirvana. Nirvana is samsara. Now, to the untrained body, mind, and heart, that just makes no sense. That's like they're too far apart. But as soon as you are on the path and you are practicing diligently, that line is the most obvious thing you've ever heard in your life. It's like, of course. How could it be otherwise? All the religions say that. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Samsara is nirvana. Nirvana is samsara. And all we just have to do is just go there, right? Don't let yourself be yanked around by anything less. This is your birthright. Your birthright is to live in the bliss of samsara. So may that be true. May that be true for all beings throughout space and time, that we live in the bliss of samsara and help all beings throughout space and time achieve this state. May it be so. May it be so.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the streaming portion of our service. Do we have announcements today? No announcements.